Hey, Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Saturn in the sign of Capricorn. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, just a few quick disclaimers. Firstly, I am using Vedic sidereal astrology. So if you are using tropical Western astrology, this may not work for you. Make sure that you have the correct positions. It's also important to understand that aspects and conjunctions will play a role into this as well. So check to see which planets are placed with Saturn or impacting Saturn in your chart. It's also important to understand the house position of Saturn. So I've done a whole series on Saturn through all 12 houses. Make sure to check that out if you have not yet. I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. Along with that, understanding the houses that Saturn has rulership over, because Saturn will definitely impact those houses as well. So check to see where is Capricorn and where is Aquarius in your natal chart also. It's also important to understand the concept of activation. So there are certain moments in our lives when Saturn will become more active for us. And the most important time is during a Saturn dasha. So I've done a whole series on Saturn Mahadasha Bhuktis. Make sure to check that out. I will leave a link for that above and down below. You also want to check for transits. So when a planet is transiting over your natal Saturn, this will also have an impact. Along with this, you want to check for Sadi Sadi. So Sadi Sadi is a phase that we go through when Saturn is transiting 12th, first, or second to our natal moon. This is definitely a time where Saturn will have an influence over your life. It's also important to understand the maturity ages of Saturn. This is also going to be a time when Saturn becomes active in your life. So the first one is going to be during a Saturn return, when Saturn returns back to its original position every 29 years. So this will definitely be, especially the first Saturn return, a time where the karmas will come back to you, where the lessons will become very clear to you as to what you need to work towards. 36 is also the age of maturity for Saturn. So from 35 up into the 40s and 50s is really when Saturn will start to loosen its grip in terms of the karmic obstacles. So this is where we really understand how to navigate this energy much better in our lives. It's also important to understand any additional karmas that have tagged along with Saturn in your natal chart. So if you have Saturn in a retrograde, then this will definitely indicate that there are some heavy karmas associated with Saturn in your chart. And this is often associated with those who are represented by Saturn in your life, that you will have karma with those people. And this could be something where those people are paying you back as far as past life karmas, or you are paying them back through your actions in this life. If Saturn is in a combustion, then some of the qualities of Saturn will be weakened in the chart. This is the attempts of trying to cleanse and purify some of the karmas that are attached to Saturn based off of past life experience. So, especially if you see the houses where Capricorn and Aquarius are placed, the combustion will affect those houses very strongly. It's also important to understand the Chara Karaka. So, this is coming from the Jaimini system of astrology, where in the regular system of astrology, we really see Saturn as having some significant roles that it plays as Karaka in our lives. But in the Jaimini system, Saturn can also represent something else in your chart as well. So it's important to see what is that char Karka that Saturn represents for you natally. Another important concept to understand is Pop Kartari Yoga. So this is when a planet is hemmed by two malefics. So if Saturn is caught between two malefics, this can reduce the ability for Saturn to show its results in the chart as well. Another important thing to understand are the aspects of Saturn. So Saturn is always going to aspect third from its position. And the third aspect is going to show where the most challenges and obstacles are. This is where a lot of effort has to be applied within our lives. Every planet also gives a seventh aspect from itself, which behaves as a mirror aspect, where it reflects its qualities into that opposite house. And the 10th aspect of Saturn is going to show the final result. This is really where the actions in our lives come to fruition, is with this 10th aspect. Another important concept is to see where is Saturn positioned from its own sign. So you want to check to see in your chart where is Saturn from its original home sign. And in particular, you really want to see it from the sign of Aquarius because that is the office sign, but you can also see it from Capricorn as well. Another important factor is how do you read this in your chart? So many of you are probably familiar with your birth chart, which is your D1 Rashi chart. But it's also important to see where is Saturn positioned from your moon sign as well. And most importantly, you want to see where is Saturn in the D9 and in the D60 chart. The D9 chart will show how Saturn will mature in your life. So if you have Saturn in a badly damaged position in the natal chart, but it is strong in the D9, then definitely Saturn will improve with time. And the final result of Saturn's karma will be reflected in the D60 chart. You also may want to look at the D10 chart as well, because Saturn is a natural karaka for work. So we can also see how Saturn will behave in the D10 chart, which has to do with career and status. Let's talk about some of the remedial measures for Saturn. The most important thing for Saturn is always to remain ethical and humble in your actions. Another great remedy of Saturn is to sacrifice something, to fast, or to give something away with this position. Also, to help those in need, to be of service. Saturn will reward you for this as well. In particular, Saturn represents older people, represents the sick, represents the underprivileged people. So, when you're helping those in need, this will definitely help to strengthen Saturn within your chart. Another great remedy for Saturn is to clean your bathroom because Saturn also indicates the bathroom as well. And the final result that I will give of Saturn as far as remedial measures is to feed crows because Saturn is associated with crows and cemeteries. So let's talk about Saturn in the sign of Capricorn. And this is going to be a favorable position because, as I mentioned earlier, Saturn feels at home in the sign of Capricorn. Now, the strongest home of Saturn is really Aquarius, but still, this is a home sign of Saturn where it's going to feel very comfortable here. So to understand this, we really have to understand what does Saturn represent and what does Capricorn represent. And Saturn and Capricorn obviously have a lot in common because Saturn feels comfortable and at home in this sign. Capricorn is a sign of status, of titles, of hard work, discipline, really putting in the effort, the time, the consistency to strive to success in life. Capricorn gives tremendous organizational skills, work ethic, discipline. Capricorn can be a very authoritative sign as well. Saturn represents our ability to be disciplined, to be organized, to be structured. And Saturn demands persistence of us, demands patience. Saturn is also about being of service to those in need. Again, it is about wanting to help the underprivileged, wanting to bring about balance and justice within society. Saturn represents limitation as well, old age, fears, obstacles, delays. Saturn shows us the reality of life. And so, in particular, Saturn tends to be a struggle for some of us at a younger age. And as we mature, then we understand how to really move into this Saturn energy and to use it correctly. So, Saturn and Capricorn can give tremendous success in life, especially in the material world. This is an excellent position for really putting in the hard work, discipline, and dedication to strive for success. And Capricorn is going to make this very slow, especially because Saturn is a slow moving energy. So, this is not about rushing to get anywhere in life. This is about really putting in that hard work and discipline, taking your time to be logical and structured step by step in your actions. Saturn and Capricorn can also make a person very realistic in their perspective. They have a ton of wisdom. They understand things at a practical level. Sometimes, though, this can create fear within their mindset as well. This can definitely give a pessimistic attitude towards life. So while Saturn and Capricorn gives the ability to strive for success, to be successful, sometimes there are fears that are related to this as well. Fears that you will not be enough or fears that you cannot take on that particular role or title. There can also be fears around losing titles in life as well. And with Saturn in Capricorn, a lot of responsibility can be put on you, especially by your family or by authoritative figures in your life. With this position, a father figure or someone who's extremely authoritative may have huge expectations for you and expect you to follow certain traditions and rules within your family. And you may want to rebel against this, but ultimately, with this position, you take this role on and you are successful in the end. Saturn in Capricorn can definitely give enormous wealth. This can show great success once again in the material world. This makes you someone who is very responsible, very family oriented. You want to be stable in life. You want to bring stability to other people. And so this position can be really great for family, for really creating that solid family foundation. At the same time, though, it may create some difficulty or coldness in relationships. Sometimes Saturn and Capricorn makes you a very independent person where you just want to do your own thing. So let's talk about Saturn in Uttara Ashadha. And we talked a little bit about Uttara Ashadha in our previous video of Saturn in Sagittarius, where that first pada fell within Sagittarius. But most of this nakshatra falls in the sign of Capricorn. So Saturn in Uttara Ashadha can make you someone who is extremely successful in life, but particularly it is in the second half of life because Uttara Ashadha is about the success or victory that comes later. So this is going to demand a lot of hard work and discipline from you. This is going to demand a lot of struggle and sacrifice in life, where you really have to put in the effort to achieve success. This position can take you from nothing all the way to the top. This is definitely a very promising position for your success in life. Saturn in Uttara Ashadha can also give you a desire to want to be respected, to want to be in that authoritative role in life, particularly because of some of the struggles that you have gone through in life and the hard work that you have put in to really get to where you are in life. This is definitely going to give you that desire to be respected, to be in that position where other people look up to you. So, Saturn in Shravana Nakshatra. Shravana is a very interesting nakshatra that is represented by a listening device. So it gives excellent listening abilities, listening skills. It also is represented by three footsteps, which represents the conquering of land or progressing forward. It also, though, can represent a limping nature that is seen through Saturn as well. So often there's something peculiar about the way that a Shravana person walks. There is something interesting about their walk, or there is something related to joint issues, limping. This can be seen. So when Saturn is in Shravana, this can show going into some type of profession that has to do with listening. And in particular, Saturn is very realistic, very practical. So this can show getting into some kind of detective work, something where you have to listen to something that is very important, that demands a lot of responsibility, that demands a lot of your attention with this position. And it can make you very interested in wanting to listen to things that are serious, that are realistic, that are about the practical world with this placement as well. This could get you into political arena, into government jobs, into, again, detective work, all of these areas where you are having to listen to something that demands you to be disciplined and patient with this placement. And you can be a very direct person as well. You like to listen to information that is clear and direct. So you don't really like to beat around the bush with this placement. Something that's also important, though, is that Saturn will test you to make sure that you really are listening and paying attention with this. So sometimes you can make mistakes where you don't actually pay attention and it can get you into difficult situations, like signing contracts without fully looking over the small print or doing business deals without really listening to the conditions. So this is going to test you to really make sure that you are paying attention. Sometimes this can also show that karmic lessons in your life will repeat 3 times with this placement because again, the symbol is 3 footsteps. And this could also indicate that you have some kind of limp or issue with hearing with this position. Also, let's talk about Saturn and Dhanishta. And Saturn in Dhanishta is a very interesting position as well. And it can be a position that gets you a lot of success in life because Dhanishta is known as the wealthiest. So this can definitely indicate making a great deal of wealth and success in life. Sometimes Dhanishta can also get you into something related to music with this position. You could sell things that are related to music with this placement. This could also get you into real estate, into engineering, into mechanical, technical work with this placement because this is a Mars nakshatra. So, all of those Mars professions where you're dealing with things that are more technical or that are related to property can be seen with this placement. This could also show that you want to serve people. You want to really make an impact in other people's lives. But you want to do this in a smart way where you are securing your wealth, where you are doing business. This can make you an excellent business person if you have Saturn and Dhanishta. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this, feel free to leave a like. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.